Mega Feraligator is a brand new Mega evolution from a Pokemon ZA available in VGC for the first time. It has a pretty interesting ability in Dragonize, which is able to increase the power of its normal type moves and turn them into dragon type attacks, but will it be enough to allow Feraligator to be viable? We're going to be trying out a really cool team that features Facade Feraligator and see how well it can perform. This is Fufutu's Facade Mega Feraligator team. The idea of the team to be able to status your Feraligator using Paralysis through Thunder Wave and Nuzzle, and then Facade, a normal type move that doubles in power when hit by a status condition, and then powered up by the Dragonize can allow Feraligator to be a massive threat. Let's break down the team. So first Pokemon we have is going to be the Mega Feraligator, with Sheer Force as the ability before it Mega Evolves, which gives an increase of power to its attacks in exchange for not having the secondary effect like the Waterfall Flinch. But realistically, you are probably going to be Mega Evolving with the Feraligator in most cases and get that Dragonize ability, an ability that increases the power of its normal type move slightly by 20% and then transforms the attacks into a Dragon type. So it's pretty interesting here. However, Sheer Force is still a nice ability because there are some cases where you don't want to Mega Evolve the Feraligator, especially because, like, let's say that you are facing down a Fairy type or a Dragon type. You don't want to Mega Evolve your Feraligator and then be vulnerable to those attacks. So in some cases, the Sheer Force helps out more than the Torrent, because the Waterfall can actually do still some decent damage, even though it is going to be weaker than its Mega Evolution form, where it gets a lot more of an attack stat. We have a maximum HP Feraligator with some special defense to be able to tank attacks. The attack stat gives it a jump point when it does Mega Evolve and gets an extra 1 stat point in its attack stat. And yeah, the idea behind Feraligator is to get Swords Dance up and of course paralyze your Feraligator. So Facade, a normal type move that's relatively weak at 70 base power, it does increase in power by double if it is status. So that's the idea with this Feraligator. We're trying to sweep utilizing that Facade and Sword Stance set. Next Pokemon we have is going to be a Shuca Berry Klefki, where it is able to pretty much be a nice type in this format thanks to Fairy Steel being really solid defensively, being able to be immune to Dire Claws, which is effective, neutral to close combat, and yeah, it's a pretty solid mon here that is able to also help out against King Gambits, especially if a lot of them do drop the Iron Head for low kick, can be very efficient. So we have a pretty max HP Klefki to tank attacks with the Bold Nature and a good amount into both physical defense as well as special defense just to be able to take general attacks. We have Dazzling Gleam, Rain Dance, Thunder Wave, and Trick Room. The Prankster ability does give it a +1 priority to any of its non-attacking moves. Of course, Trick Room is a -7 priority move, so it's not going to affect the Trick Room too much, but realistically, it's going to be impactful for Rain Dance as a helpful answer to Charizard Y to power up the Feraligator as well with the Waterfall. Thunder Wave, because you do have options for Self Thunder Wave into Feraligator for the Facade base power, as well as being able to Thunder Wave your opponents and go for Hex with your female Basculegion is also another option. And you have multiple forms of speed control, which is also helpful as well. And then Dazzling Gleam, which is able to get some decent chip damage across the board. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the female Basculegion, which is an interesting mod here on this team with the Choice Scarf, which does give this team a bit of speed. The Modest Nature, which is pretty interesting. It does mean it underspeeds the base 1 30s like the Mega Gengar, as well as a few others like the Delphox. However, the extra bit of damage can be nice in situations, especially like the Shadow Ball and the Hydro Pump. With that adaptability to increase the same type of attack bonuses is really effective. Flip Turn to be able to pivot out of there. Hex doubles in power. It's a ghost type move that's 65 base power. However, it does double in power when the opponent is statused. And we do have Thunder Wave on this team. So you can go for a Thunder Wave with Prankster Klefki, get that paralysis off, and then the Hex will do double damage. And it can do a lot from the adaptability Basculegion, especially with Shadow Ball also just being a stronger move in case you aren't going to go for the Thunder Wave immediately. It's a hard-hitting Basculegion, and it does have the special attack investment, unlike the male counterpart, which does have more attack. The female version does have more special attack and is able to do a lot with its pretty decent coverage usually, but we're just running Water and Ghost here. So next Pokemon we have is going to be a more offensive White Herb Incineroar, where it is able to help out against opposing Intimidate as well as the close combat defense drops, because it does reset one of your stat drops that does happen throughout. So it does have a very powerful Incineroar. This is able to hit hard. We have max HP because you still want to have a bulky Incineroar. You have a lot of attack to get the extra jump point in its attack stat, 174 versus 176. And then the remainder going to go into defense and special defense, with Brave Nature for the slower Incineroar, Darkest Lair, the stronger Dark type move, Flare Blitz for the fire coverage, Fake Out of course because you can still go for Fake Out Trick Room, and Close Combat to be able to hit opposing Incineroars, and King Gambit. It's a more offensive Incineroar, but it does take advantage more of the Trick Room and can actually do a lot of damage. So that is nice. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Focus Sash Magic Bounce Hatterene, where it is able to survive one strong attack and try to set up that Trick Room usually. So Magic Bounce is a great ability because it does prevent the Hatterene from being able to be affected by Encore and Taunt or any of those non-status moves, and then also just bounce them back at the opponent as well, which can be useful in some situations. And it is pretty solid because this one is going to be running max HP with 24 special attack stat points to get the jump point in its special attack stat, 198 versus 196. And then the remainder is going to go into physical defense. I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning is for the defense investment extra with the Focus Sash. It might live some combos with Fake Out into another attack that are physical, but across the board, the Hatterene's more of support anyway. The only attack move this has is Dazzling Gleam, and the reason is because you have Nuzzle, mainly to go for the Nuzzle into your Feraligator to, again, get that access to the Facade, which can be really powerful from the Dragonize boost. So that's the main cause of this Hatterene. You kind of actually want to stick around, but you still want Dazzling Gleam to do some solid damage across the board. Final Pokemon we have is going to be the Black Belt Conkeldurr, and this Conkeldurr is very interesting because it does have that Black Belt, which powers up the Fine type moves that it does have by 20%. The Guts ability, which is going to be able to increase the Conkeldurr's attack damage output when it's affected by status. Think again, the Nuzzle with the Hatterene, as well as the Thunder Wave from Klefki, and you are able to do some solid damage utilizing Close Combat, really strong Fire type attack, Knockoff, which is able to hit Aegis Slash and Basket Legion, Poison Jab for the fairies because you really desperately need a way to hit fairies on this team, and then Protect to keep itself around. EV spread wise, you want to have a good amount of special defense on Conkeldurr. As you can see, we're actually going with max special defense. The main reason is Conkeldurr has pretty good physical defense, but special defense is severely lacking, where it takes a lot of damage, and you kind of want, even with the defense drops of Conkeldurr, you kind of want to be able to stick around and take at least one hit. So having a good amount of special defense, it already has a super high base attack stat, so you don't have to go crazy with it. And we are going to be running 187, which is going to be the jump point for the attack stat with the Brave Nature. And then the rest is going to go into HP just for general bulk. And yeah, Conkeldurr can be really effective as a Trick Room Sweeper, especially with that Guts ability. Again, it hits really hard in this format, and we'll see what it can do. So how to use the team? Well, this is more of a hard Trick Room team for the most part, so the idea is to get Trick Room up. I would say most commonly your leads are going to be one of Klefki or Hatterene to set up the Trick Room. Generally probably going to be Klefki in most cases because Klefki is easier to set up Trick Room in most game situations. And then usually maybe like Incineroar, because Incineroar can just go for Fake Out, has that Intimidate support, and would be able to be pretty nice in order to be able to set up that Trick Room in a safer position. Otherwise, you do have a few other options that you can go for lead-wise. I think Feraligator plus Instant is an okay lead because you can go for Fake Out Sword Stance, and even in under slow conditions, it's not a bad plan. Then you could try to bring out Klefki and then go for Thunder Waves, or attempt to Trick Room if you really need to without having a Mega Ball Feraligator, because +2 Feraligator will still do a ton of damage, which is pretty nice. You can also lead the Basket Legion plus the Klefki, which is also another decent lead option because you can go for something like a Thunder Wave plus Hex combination and do a ton of damage, or you can bluff the combination, go for a flip turn to Basket Legion, try to get in one of your hard hitters like Conkeldurr and Feraligator, and go for Trick Room if they're scared of the Thunder Wave Klefki with the Hex Basket Legion combination. So those are a few different combinations that you can go for on the lead. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And if you would like to try out the team, there is a replica code right here. But otherwise, I'm excited. Let's try out Mega Feraligator for the first time and see if it can perform, or maybe it's not as great as we have seen in the usage stats. Alright, we have Starmie, Archaludon, Sinistra, Pelipper, Scizor, and Incineroar. A very, very big rain team here. Okay, what am I exactly wanting to go? Feraligator is actually pretty good offensively against this team, except against the Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is definitely going to be a bit of an issue. Or the Archaludon is definitely going to be a bit of an issue. I'm trying to think about my best mons here. So I don't really like Hatterene too much because the Scizor is a bit annoying. They have double steal in general. So I'm not a big fan of Hatterene. I do like Conkeldurr though. Conkeldurr is pretty good here. And Feraligator is pretty solid. The only problem is, what do I do into Pelipper plus Archaludon lead? Because I don't think I have a safe line here. I guess I could lead instant and just close combat immediately, which isn't terrible, I suppose. Yeah, I guess it's not too bad. I have to set up Feraligator in the back because it's not easy for me to get Feraligator lead against our Chaladon since I don't have any redirection. This does look pretty concerning though because they do have Sinistra of Rage Powder. I think Pelipper or Chaladon Sinistra is going to be really hard to break through. So gotta play it one step at a time, I suppose, and see if I can actually find a path in order to break through. They lead Scizor plus Incineroar, which is very shocking me. Okay, as I lead Klefki plus Incineroar, this is actually okay. I do have a White Herb on the Incineroar, which is going to deny the Intimidate, but the question is, do I want to keep Incineroar in, or do I want to try to bring up my threat, which is going to be the Feraligator? So I have a few options in mind here. I think my best play maybe is to get the Trick Room up, but I'm not 100% certain. They probably just fake out the Incineroar slot. I don't know, they might Swords Dance here, which is fine, I suppose. My Feraligator is slow, but I don't know if it's slower than their Incineroar and Scizor. I think I probably just want to maybe go for a Gleam though, and maybe just go into Feraligator. I think that's okay. No, actually no, I go for Trick Room first. Because even if I am slower, then I need to be sure I can beat the Archaladon. They actually hard swap in Archaladon, which makes sense on the Flare Blitz potential to get stamina. So we are going to be able to double out our Incineroar, although this isn't like a great spot either. We do bring out our Feraligator. Oh, Burning Jealousy. Ooh, wait. Okay, that's an interesting move to have here. Very interesting move to have here as we get Trick Room up. Okay, so it's Burning Jealousy. But the thing about Burning Jealousy is that it's a move about... It's a special fire type move that can burn if I'm setting up, but I don't have anything that I was setting up there. It doesn't affect light screen, it only affects stat boosting moves. It does mean I can't set up with my Feraligator safely, but I think with Trick Room up, I can get Conkeldurr in and start doing some damage. Close combat and Arch and Liquidation look pretty good the next turn. So we'll bring out Conkeldurr as we protect our Feraligator. They did an Electroshot here, so I imagine they Dragon Pulse attempt or maybe Flash Cannon. They Parting Shot attempt my Feraligator, which makes sense, as they go for an Electroshot. Wait. That's amazing for me. That's amazing for me. Because our Chaladon's locked in to that. I can just go for... Do I think close combat KOs? It is Black Belt Conkeldurr, but it isn't like maximum invested. I think I just double up the Archaladon just in case with Facade plus close combat, just to ensure I get the knockout into Archaladon. So they are forced to be locked in. I'm very shocked. I guess it was because they expected to get a Parting Shot off and then get Pelipper in, but that's the risk you take when going for that play into a mon that could protect. If they Parting Shot out to Klefki, could have been a different story. But here comes a close combat into the Arch. It actually just one-shots the Archaladon. So Conkeldurr taking the Archaladon down, which is nice. Because I know some Archaladons are pretty bulky to live like Sneasler close combat. So I was like, even with the black belt, am I 100% certain? Because I'm not max invested. I'm like, okay, I'll still try it. Did work out. And also, Facade's not too bad either, because Incineroar was faster than the Feraligator under Trick Room, which means I get a Facade off into probably the Pelipper incoming. Or Sinistra. Okay, they brought no Pelipper. Wait, they brought no Pelipper, so they just Electroshotted because they want the special attack boost. Okay, as we get the Facade off into Sinistra, and that's actually not some bad damage. Like, that legitimately is not bad damage. And now, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't even think I have to set up my Feraligator at this point. Scizor is back in. Guess who's getting an Intimidate off into that Pokemon? Should I Swords Dance here? I guess I could Swords Dance. They forfeit. Conkeldurr putting in the work immediately. You love to see it. They trapped themselves in, and I was in a great spot. All right, we have Pelipper Archaladon with Blastoise, the Basculegion, Dragonite, and Sneasler. So could be dual Mega Blastoise and the Dragonite. Blastoise will probably always be a Mega. The Dragonite, not exactly 100% certain. I'm a little bit scared because Archaladon is still a very scary Pokemon to deal with here. And it's not an easy one, I'd say, for me to handle. Do I go with Basculegion mode this time? Because I could Thunderwave Hex, and Thunderwave Hex is pretty effective against my opponent's team. Maybe. I don't need Trick Room Up guaranteed. I don't need Incineroar in this matchup because other than the Basculegion, it really doesn't do too much here. So I think I actually go Klefki plus Basculegion and go for the Thunderwave Hex plan because they don't really have the best ways of stopping it. And then I think Feraligator plus Conkeldurr can clean up. I just don't know if I'm going to go for Trick Room. Hattering's okay, but it's not like that incredible against this team. There's a lot of ways that they can threaten with really strong damage output, and Gleam is like not the greatest damage output for me. So let's see what they decide to go for here. But I do like Thunderwave plus Hex a lot, and I mean a lot. We're going to see Sneasel Blastoise. Okay. As I do lead the Klefki plus with the Basculegion. I am Scarf on the Basculegion. I think I'm willing to just go for a Thunder Wave immediately into the Blastoise, and I think I'm just going to go for a Hex just to get some damage off, because they'll probably be scared of Thunder Wave the next turn, but how do they stop it? They could fake out this turn, but it's like, okay, if I get the Hex damage in the Blastoise, then they're in range of Thunder Wave Hex. I don't know if they're just going to go for a Dark Pulse immediately, so that would make sense. Depending on the Blastoise spread, Basculegion can easily survive the Dark Pulse, so we'll see what they decide to go for. But they do Mega Evolve with the Blastoise, so that makes sense here. Okay. And I don't mind getting chipped for my Pokemon either. They do go for Fake Out into Klefki. Okay. This could be Water Spout too, just to get some damage across the board, but I do not mind this. Also, I'm not sure the Blastoise will run Protect. We'll find out. Hex going to come out into the Blastoise. That did some really good damage, actually. And they Water Spout immediately. I mean, Shadow Ball was the better play here because I didn't expect Hex to actually do that much. But you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. And now this turn, we do have access to Thunder Wave plus Hex here into either slot. I'm actually going to tar down the Sneasler, I think. I think tarring down the Sneasler is probably better for me. Because the Blastoise... I guess they could Dark Pulse, but do I care if they Dark Pulse? I guess it's not too bad. I think I get rid of Sneasler because I think it's the only way they immediately KO the Klefki. We get a Thunder Wave off. Let's see. With the Hex, Sneasler has decent Spadef, but Adaptability Hex. Let's go. Basculegion KO the Sneasler. Oh my goodness, that actually killed Sneasler. Okay. Great. They do Dark Pulse, but that's alright. Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm curious if they go Blastoise or if they go, or not Blastoise, Pelipper, or they go Arch. Because that's actually a huge thing. I think I might have to call this because if they go Arch, I want to go Conkeldurr. If they go Pelipper, I need to go Feraligator. That's a little bit of a tricky one. I think I'm going to go out in the Feraligator, though. I think Feraligator is better. Okay, it is Pelipper, so I was correct there. Alright, nice. As we do bring out the Feraligator. The Blastoise is still a bit concerning. Am I Trick Rooming here? No, I don't think I'd be able to get Trick Room. They probably are going to go for Water Spout and an attack with Pelipper. Okay. Maybe I should have Thunder Wave Hexed the Blastoise, but I wasn't sure. Okay. This is a bit tricky because now I'm playing out of Trick Room, which is not great. I need to Thunder Wave plus probably double up a slot here, but the question is into what? I think I have to target down the Pelipper slot. I think I go for Thunder Wave into Pelipper and Facade the Pelipper. Actually, I think I should have Waterfalled. Although I don't know if a Waterfall and a Facade would KO. I would get the flinch chance, but I think I need to damage in Pelipper. Because it is the biggest threat to Conkeldurr right now. Water Spout's not like crazy damage to the Feraligator. And I think this is probably like Weather Ball plus Water Spout to ensure the Klefki goes down. Because the Klefki is really annoying for them. But we'll see. They do Water Spout, which I'm not surprised by. This should KO Klefki with the Rain Boost. Yeah. Alright. Feraligator is faster than the Pelipper, I imagine, after the Para. Unless it was Scarf, yeah. So Facade comes out. Ooh, that did a bit less than I was hoping for. They do Weather Ball double up, so I was correct on that. Okay. It's not looking too hot. It's playable, though, but it's not looking too hot. Conkeldurr can come in. I don't threaten the Pelipper, unfortunately, with a knockout, I'm pretty sure. I think my play here is just to hope that they respect the Kong so they can try to clean up with our Chaudon in the end game. I think I go for a Protect and I think I try to Swords Dance up. and hope that they Water Spout Hurricane to Conkeldurr. We'll see. It's kind of rough here. Thunderwave Hex did work in the beginning. Okay, they did Water Spout, so that kind of makes me signal that they probably Hurricane, which is nice. I could go for a full para on the Pelipper, which is nice. Also, stalling out Rain turns is still good for me, so Electric Shot isn't an option. So Swords Dance up with Feraligator. Yeah, they did Hurricane. Okay, beautiful. I can get a double knockout here, I suppose. Conk will live one attack from the Blastoise since it's chipped quite a bit. We go for Facade into close combat here. I'm pretty sure. There's a chance they Dark Pulse my Feraligator, and if I don't get flinched, I'm in a great spot. Actually, was it better close combat? Yeah, because they do Spout here. Okay. I have to make a call to next turn. I have to get a call to next turn. So I do get a Facade KO into Pelipper. So Pelipper goes down. Blastoise should go down to close combat. I know Blastoise has some pretty good physical defense, but this is Black Belt Conkeldurr. And we saw the damage in the last game. Blastoise goes down. And last mon should be Arch. Now the question is, will we be able to win the game? I think if I had Mach Punch, this would be so much easier, I think. Oh wait, it's Basculegion. Huh. Oh, I wish I knew my Conkeldurr calcs. I don't think knockoff KOs to Bask. I think this is a call where Last Respect has to come out, and the question is into who. Because Facade should knock out the Basculegion at +2. The question is, who are they targeting? The Conkeldurr or the Feraligator? If I have to protect the right call, because otherwise, I'm pretty sure. I think they have to target the Feraligator. I'm like pretty sure because Feraligator is probably the one that can threaten the knockout. I don't think Conkeldurr can. Nice. Nice. Oh, thank goodness. Because they don't know my moveset on Conk. And yeah, it does live the attack barely. Scarf? Sash. Okay. They could have protected with Basculegion, but then I would have been a mind game about the weighted 50-50 of who they target, and if they target into Feraligator, I go for double protect. Oh my goodness, that was a bit too close, but getting the call right there somehow worked out. All right, we have Frostlass, Sneasler, Kingambit, Garchomp, Aerodactyl, and Basculegion. All right. I am curious on what they lead here. They have a lot of physical attackers. I could lead Incineroar. I'm pretty sure this should be Defying Kingambit, though. Again, it probably can't threaten the Klefki, however. So I think maybe I still lead Klefki plus Incineroar, which isn't a bad combo here. And then in the back, I probably just go for Alligator and Conkeldurr. I guess here's the thing. If they have a Roarville, it's pretty annoying to play around with the Frostlass, but I still think this is the best kind of play that I can go for here. I think the only way they can threaten the Klefki is with a double up with Iron Head Kingambit specifically, because otherwise I don't really see the best damage output they have against this. Okay, Kingambit Sneasler, which is fine. It's not great, but it's alright. Okay, get Intimidate off, Defiant. Yep. And White Herb on the Sneasler. That's not too surprising to me. Okay. So, I'm not... This is concerning. It's playable, though. I'm just going to attempt to get Trick Room up and Fake Out. Because if we trade Fake Outs, it's like not that big of a deal, realistically. I get a bit of chip into Kingambit, so it's not too bad. Yeah, we're going to trade Fake Outs. The question is, what am I doing the next turn? Because the next turn is actually kind of concerning, as we do get a Fake Out off. Okay. I max attack Incineroar. The problem with running Brave Incineroar is these Kingambit lines get super rough. Like, maybe I could have let Conk, but they could have just close combat Iron Head. I think it's just going to come down to how much damage they can actually do to my Klefki. Do I have a way to really stop them from getting the big damage off? Not really. So I think I just have to go for a Trick Room. And the question is, what am I doing with Incineroar? I think I could close combat and just hope for not Chople Berry. I do think it is probably Chople Berry on the Kingambit, but there is a chance maybe it's like Black Glasses or something. So I'm going to go for close combat and I'm going to go for Trick Room. They go for close combat. Oh, they target the instant slot though. If they target the instant, that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind them targeting the instant because if they target the instant, A crit doesn't really matter here. It should have went down anyway. Actually, yeah, it should have anyway. If they're adamant max. If they're jolly, I guess it matters, but they usually run adamant. Iron Head. Okay, yeah. Don't flinch me. Nice. Okay, good. Decent turn. Because we can bring out the Conkeldurr now and threaten a huge close combat into the King Gambit for the knockout. And then we're going to go out into our Feraligator, which is a super safe play for the most part. Yeah. Because I assume after that fake out damage with Black Belt, I am sure to knock out King Gambit. And then I think that the Feraligator can go in on my opponent's team. So we'll bring out the Feraligator. They double out as the Sneasler into Frostlass, which makes sense, okay? And protect. Yep. Perfect. Okay. I do not mind that. I think they're going to attack with Frostlass. I just don't know if they're attacking with King Gambit. I could see Sneasler coming back in. I think my play here is just to Mega Evolve, go for Waterfall, and knock off the Frostlass. I just don't know if they protect. I feel like they probably don't. Because I could close combat the Gambit. I could double up the Gambit slot too, I suppose, with Waterfall, which isn't a terrible play here. Yeah, I guess that's not a terrible play. I'm going to Waterfall and I'm going to go for close combat. Or do I Facade? Does Facade do more? I can flinch the Frostlass though, which is better, I think. I'm going to close combat Waterfall. I could have Swords Dance here, I suppose. But I kind of want to cover a Sneasler. Because if they bring in Sneasler, I want to make sure I have the option to go for a KO before I can like fake out. But yeah, they do. I do Mega Evolve here. They also Mega Evolve here. So I guess this isn't the worst option because getting rid of the Gambit's still kind of nice. But I might be taking quite a bit of damage. I don't know if I'll be able to sweep under Trick Room at this rate. They Sucker Punch a Conk. Oh, wait. I might go down to Blizzard. Might need that flinch. I might need that flinch. Also, it is not Choppleberry Gambit, so it is probably Black Glasses, or maybe it's Sash. We have seen some Sash Gambits out there. But we do KO the King Gambit, and we do get a Waterfall off into the Frostlass. So, okay damage. Actually, pretty good damage. Flinch? Nope. Blizzard? Probably KOs. Oh, no. Conkeldurr is actually really good. Okay. Oh. What do I even say, man? What do I even say? I mean, I'm going to attempt to attack. I have to unfall. I mean, they're probably going to fake out plus Blizzard again. I don't know which slot they fake out, but probably for Alligator. Yeah. Unfall. Unfall, Conk. Well, if we unfold, I'm pretty sure knockoff KO'd the Frostlass, and then it's like a 2v3 position, and I think I'm actually in an okay spot. It depends heavily on like if the last mon in the back has Protect or not, but yeah, this was actually winnable. Until the double freeze happened. Pokemon sometimes, you know? Alright, we have Gengar, Incineroar, Politoed, Blastoise, Sneasler, and Talonflame. Now, the thing is, I don't know if this is like going to be some Trick Room Gengar, Mega Blastoise stuff that we have used on the channel before with Tailwind. If this is just going to be Tailwind offense or if this is going to be Perish Song stuff. All of these are very possible and likely here. So what am I leading? I don't mind Trick Room because I actually function in Trick Room pretty well with my team. So I think my best play is probably just to go with Klefki plus Basket Legion. It's pretty good against my opponent's team in general for the most part, and I do love it a lot here. I do bring Feraligator for sure. The question is Conkeldurr really worth it? Because Conkeldurr doesn't really do much in this matchup. Maybe it's a second way to get Trick Room up if I need to, or Instant for the ability to... It does it decently hard against my opponent, but at the same time, it's not like incredible. Maybe it's Hatterene. Because Hatterene is good Spadef for the water types. You know what? I'm going to bring Hatterene. I just don't think Conkeldurr does that much. Close combat is nice into the Politoed, I suppose. But other than that, not really. So I'm kind of curious on what my opponent's going to do here. I like the idea of just being able to Thunder Wave Hex a combination. If they lead Gengar plus Blastoise, I probably am going to flip turn the Gengar immediately. Maybe not. Maybe I just go for a Shadow Ball or Hex immediately, which is also reasonable. Let's see what my opponent decides to bring here. Gonna be Sneasel Blastoise. Okay, I cannot unfortunately tell what the combo is here, but Klefki plus the Basket Legion is pretty good. I think this turn I can just go for Thunder Wave into the... I think Thunder Wave Shadow Ball is probably my best bet here. Yeah, I'm gonna Thunder Wave the Blastoise and I'm gonna go for a Shadow Ball. Like, sure, I can do some Hex stuff right here, but I think it's better to Shadow Ball. If I can two-shot the Blastoise, it's probably better. It also weakens Power Water Spout immediately, because we saw the damage on Hex earlier, and it did incredible amounts of work. So, I think I just Shadow Ball here for damage. They actually gave me a Hex scenario. They didn't fake out. They went for close combat immediately. Okay. I do get a Thunder Wave off into Blastoise. And a Shadow Ball. Okay, hold on. Oh, that did a lot less. This is bulky. Close combat into the Klefki. We tank, okay. Probably whiter. Yep. I can Thunder Wave that though, so it's not like too bad. Dark Pulse immediately, but that we should live. Oh, they're max modest, okay. So that's kind of annoying. Granted, it's still very playable, I suppose. Because we can go out in Feraligator. This is not easy, but it's definitely playable. Do I want Trick Room up is the question. Probably. The question is, do they let me get Trick Room up? I'm not 100% certain. I think I'm going to Trick Room and Protect with Feraligator. Yeah. I have an idea of a plan I want to try to go for. We'll see if it works. But I'm going to Trick Room and Protect because I think they double up the Feraligator potentially with close combat. Oh, they switch out the Blastoise, which is interesting. Into Incineroar. Okay. That's fine. As we Protect Feraligator, what are they clicking here? Nah, they close combat the Klefki. I mean, this is still playable, but I mean, every bit of resources kind of been lacking here. Okay, Klefki goes down. We're gonna go out into Hatterene. And we gotta get Trick Room up, so I'm gonna hope that they give me an option to get Trick Room up, and I'm gonna... I guess I need the bulk, so I'm gonna Swords Dance and Mega Evolve. Wonder what the last is. I guess it's not Gengar. We Swords Dance up, we go for Trick Room. Hopefully it's just Fake Out into Feraligator and it's Dire Claw into the slot, because that would be fine, I suppose. But we'll see. Oh, they Fake Out the Hatterene. I could have protected. Oh, they close combat. Okay. Is it winnable? We got Swords Dance up. I suppose it is. They're just going to Pine Shot out the Feraligator, I imagine, and just go for Dire Claw into Hat. I need to KO the Sneasler if I want to have a chance. So I guess I Facade the Sneasler and I go for Protect. Facade gets a little bit of extra power and it also covers Blastoise, I suppose. But yeah, this is... I mean, it depends heavily on their last Pokemon. If it's Politoed, the game might be a wrap because they could perish Song, I suppose, in the end game. But we'll see. They do Dire Claw, yep. They're faster than my Gator. I guess that's going to be useful in Trick Room. I mean, they are -1 defense, so Facade should still KO regardless. Because Sneasler, unless it's a really bulky Sneasler, I should be good. Blastoise back in. I need a Blastoise, probably the full para, most likely. Facade. KO Sneasler. Okay, what's the last? Or are they going to bring back Incin? If they go back into Incin, this is playable. Okay. Because if they Flare Blitz, I just gotta hope that the Blastoise doesn't get to move. We need some yellow magic right here. So we're gonna Trick Room and we're gonna Swords Dance. I think I need to hope that the Blastoise gets parried anyway, so I do go for Swords Dance here. Because I do have a line the next turn. If I do get Trick Room up. So this is like Flare Blitz Water Spout, I'm good. Because the thing is, Facade doesn't knock out the Blastoise. Sure, I could go for Waterfall. Is that like my best play? I don't think it is. I think I need a boost with Feraligator if I need a chance to KO whatever is the last Mon. So I'm curious on what the Blastoise is going to click here. Because that's going to be a really important factor. They do Flare Blitz immediately. If they get full parad. Okay. That took a lot, but we're still in it. Sora stands up. We need a lot of things to go right here. Okay. Okay. Trick Room goes up. Now we self-nuzzle our Feraligator and we're gonna Facade the Blastoise. So we get the speed interaction where Blastoise is technically slower than my Feraligator right now, so it's faster under Trick Room, but with this paralysis here, I will underspeed the Blastoise. And I will KO with the Facade with the boost and the double power. So Blastoise goes down, it's instant and whatever the last Pokemon is. And what did they click with the instant? Flare Blitz again? Flare Blitz again. Okay, perfect. It's gonna come down to the last Mon. And also some yellow magic. But we have got a shot. We have got a shot. I am playing towards my outs. Oh, it's Talonflame. I lose. Unless it's Brave Bird. It should be like Acro or Dual Wing Beats, then I need to hope for a miss. Because they can just go for flying coverage and 2 coverage moves will KO the Feraligator. Wait, I live Brave Bird. Yeah. We just need to break through. Okay, that's 1. That's 1. We just need 1 more. We just need 1 more. Crit doesn't matter. We just need 1 more. Feraligator. What has more aura? Let's show them the power of Facade. They can protect here if they have protect. But I'm so glad it's Brave Bird because Brave Bird was the only No! Why are you faint? Oh. I thought it was so winnable. They had faint. Any other move that wasn't a priority would have done it. Alright, we have King Gambit, Sneasler, Basculegion, Charizard, Garchomp, and Frostlass. So Charizard and Frostlass will probably be the Mega Evolutions. Garchomp probably not. What am I doing here? I just really don't like playing around Charizard Zard or Charizard Garchomp with this team. I think I'm gonna commit something. I'm gonna do Feraligator plus Instant, and then I really wish I had Parting Shot. Being able to Parting Shot into Klefki would make this matchup so much easier, I think, but unfortunately I cannot do that. Because the thing is, I guess Basculegion could technically be good in a Charizard Chomp, but it could also lead Charizard plus Gambit, and that is pretty bad. So I kind of have to get this guessing game right. What would be my back? I think it's definitely Klefki, and then I think I need Conkeldurr as a backup to the King Gambit, because King Gambit's always just super scary. But we will find out here. I don't really love the Hatterene here because it doesn't really tank attacks well. And Dazzling Gleam also doesn't fire back much damage. And then Basculegion, I've said my problems before. King Gambit's just too threatening. Like Sucker Punch always just threatens to KO. Basculegion Frostlass is an interesting lead. Okay. Versus Feraligator Instant. Fascinating. Is this a Sword Stance Flare Blitz angle? Or is this a hard swap to Klefki? The problem with hard swapping to Klefki is I don't think it works. The reason I don't think it works is because I'm pretty sure that if I take a Wave Crash with Klefki, if I switch to Klefki on the instant slot, is then I'm in Shadow Ball Wave Crash range, because I probably take way too much. I'm gonna not Mega Evolve so I don't take neutral damage from Blizzard, and I'm gonna Flare Blitz the Frostlass. Let's see what comes out. So we don't have to worry about Charizard Y in this matchup, which is actually not bad for me. Well, we'll see what comes out. They go for Aurora Veil. Okay, that's actually not terrible for me. Because I am trying to set up a Swords Dance Feraligator sweep, ideally. Wave Crash, wouldn't KO. Oh, it's Liquidation, so... If it's Liquidation, then that means it generally is Sash, which makes it a bit harder to remove. But granted, Swords Dance from Feraligator is pretty good. And a Flare Blitz. Hopefully we do enough to where Recoil takes us out. I don't think that's where Recoil takes us out, unfortunately. Parting Shot would have been nice here because I could Parting Shot. Oh, wait, it does. Perfect. Okay. I actually needed that to KO, actually. I did need that to KO. So now I can go on a Klefki, and I can go for Trick Room here with Klefki. The question is, am I attacking with Feraligator or not? I could attack in non-Mega form. But I think my best play is just to protect Trick Room. Yeah, I think it's just to protect Trick Room. Even if they Shadow Ball, that's okay. I don't want this to be some random full support Frost Blast with Aurora Veil and then Encore Will-O-Wisp. So this is not a bad position. Basket Legion -1 attack isn't threatening too much damage. The Frost Blast is kind of annoying, but there is Aurora Veil, and Frost Blast still goes down to Waterfall afterward. They actually retreat to Frost Blast, so I could have played more aggressive here. King Gambit, that's fine. Alright. Oh, they double retreat. Interesting. Sneasler. Makes sense. Oh, if I went on the aggressive, this was a really solid play. I probably should have, because it wasn't like Feraligator was threatened by knockout. I was just worried about taking too much damage here. But I guess this is acceptable. Yeah, this is acceptable. What does more? Waterfall or Facade here into the Sneasler? Here's the thing. I don't think either of them KO because of Aurora Veil, but I could get a flinch of Waterfall. So I think I'm willing to go for Waterfall and just hard swap to Conkeldurr. Because Conkeldurr can try to sweep under Trick Room. And Sneasler is the most annoying Pokemon for me to try to get rid of for Conkeldurr, so I do go for the Sneasler regardless. We will Mega Evolve our Feraligator. We get a bit of boost to our bulk and more damage output. Kowtow? Oh, they didn't fake out. So did they go for close combat immediately? I mean, Feraligator lives to close combat, but let's see. Waterfall, good damage. It's Citrus Berry. It's one of those bulky Citrus Berry Sneasers, yeah. Because I would have KO'd Frail. And that's why we go for Waterfall, because we can flinch, as I said. Now I'm going to Facade the Sneasler, because Facade will KO, and we go for close combat into the Gambit. As I said, we can go for Waterfall to scam, and sometimes we will go for that with this team, because it's not like it's the easiest team to sweep under Trick Room. They protect the Gambit. Does this protect Sneasler as well? That makes sense. Still allow turn Trick Room. I don't think this is a bad spot for me, though. I really don't. Now, the question is, do I think the Gambit is staying in? Or do I think they're going to hard retreat into Bask? Because Bask is a very safe play for them. You stall out Trick Room. How many times have Trick Room are left? 2, right? Yeah. I think their best play is to go Bask. I'm going to Facade, and I'm going to Knock Off. They could also go one of the Ghost types, so I think it's definitely worth going for Knock Off. If they're Choppled, they're staying in, but if they're not Choppled, they went for the double, they get the double. I mean, to be fair, they get the Waterfall flinch. But I could have close combat to Gambit. Are you Chopple? Okay, they were Chopple, so they would have let close combat, so yeah. Kowtow into Feraligator. Veil wears off this turn, right? Snow stops and Veil wears off. Okay, so close combat does knock out the Sneasler. I have some things I can do, I suppose. I need close combat to knock out the Sneasler. That's the thing. Because they're going to go for They probably go for Sucker here. I guess the thing is that they think I have Mach Punch, but I don't have Mach Punch. I really wish I did have Mach Punch at times for the Gambits. Because, like, this would be a beautiful position to have Mach Punch. So I can Mach Punch the Gambit to deny the Gambit from taking So I could go for Mach Punch plus Facade, get a double knockout here, basically. But unfortunately, I do not have that option. So we will go for Klefki. So we can try to attempt another Trick Room. They protect the Gambit, which that actually works for me. Because I get a close combat off into the Sneasler and I take the knockout. Okay. It's still not easy, but it's doable, I suppose. Because if they go Frost, I mean, they should always go Basque. I don't know why you would ever go Frostlass, or why you would ever go... Wait, why do you go Frostlass here? You don't KO Klefki. Huh? Okay, wait. I don't know why they went Frostlass here. We saw Kowtow, we saw Low Kick, and we saw Sucker. They don't KO Conkeldurr unless they double it up, but there's no way you KO Klefki here. I protect Trick Room. I get another Trick Room. They gave me another Trick Room for some reason. Instead of going Basque and threatening heavy damage. Okay. Blizzard, that's fine. Okay. Oh, come on! Unfall, please! Unfall, please! I need to unfall. Today has not been my day. Today has not been my day. There's no way they didn't go Basque and just click Liquidation or Last Respect and instead went for this plan. I'm just gonna hope that Conkeldurr lives in close combat, I suppose. Blizzard. I might. It's -1 defense, though. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. I think I should stop playing for today. This has been my trajectory for a while. And it's lost me over 150 points. Okay. Gonna take a break. We'll be back at it. Alright. We're back. I don't know if I want to be back, realistically. But here we are. Sylveon, Charizard, Garchomp, Farigiraf, Aerodactyl, King Gambit. Have mercy on me, game. Let's see. What are we doing here? Sylveon's kind of hard for my team to beat because, again, the fairy weakness is pretty massive. I think... what are they leading? I really wish I had Parting Shot on Instant. Parting Shot on Instant just is so much better in close combat, I feel, at times. I think I go for Alligator Instant. It generally, I think, is a better lead into like most of like the Garchomp Charizard stuff for the King Gambit plus the Charizard with Klefki in the back and Conkeldurr, because I need the big poison damage into the Sylveon, I think, in order to do something, and I also need Conkeldurr as a backup answer to King Gambit. On the bright side, we can't get frozen in this matchup because there's no Frostlass. Yes, I am still affected by that, but, you know, I have a busy week, so I can't really record that much, so I'm going to power through. We have Sylveon Aerodactyl versus Instant plus the Feraligator, which is a very surprising lead. I'm surprised they led this into Klefki potential lead, but that's fine by me. I'm going to set up a Swords Dance immediately, and I'm going to fake out to the Sylveon. I'm kind of curious who's faster between Sylveon and Feraligator, because that's actually kind of huge. Okay, they protect, which is fine, as we do fake out the Sylveon. And they get Rock Slide, which is not too bad, because it's not that much damage. Yeah. I was actually expecting the flinch there, but this is not really the important one anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Parting Shot would be nice here, but I will just protect go to Klefki, so I can try to get the Trick Room up. Because next turn I'll go for Waterfall into Sylveon and Trick Room. Because I am curious on who's faster between Sylveon and the Feraligator. I imagine Sylveon should be invested to be faster than my Feraligator, but we'll see. I could also Thunder Wave if I want to. Thunder Wave is also not a bad play here. They Tailwind. Okay, that's fine. And Hyper Voice. Okay. So this is a pretty decent spot for me, I'd say. Because I can go for a Waterfall into the Sylveon slot, and I can go for a Trick Room. Yeah. Okay, pretty good spot to be in for the most part. Klefki walls this position. Ideally can get Trick Room up, but we'll see. Rock Slide gonna come out. It is Aerodactyl. Oh my goodness. I had a feeling it could have been Hyper Beam, but like, is there another play that I had? Not really. I would ideally not want... Actually, I could afford to flinch. Yeah, I could afford to flinch here if I want. Okay, I don't. This isn't that bad of a spot for me though, because I get in Conkeldurr that's putting on a lot of offensive pressure here. So I don't think this is that bad. I know that I also realized that they could have went for Rigraff on the fake out, but I was like, if they led this, I don't even know if they brought for Rigraff at this point. Because I feel like it might be Charizard Gambit, but yeah, we are going to Poison Jab and we're going to Dazzling Gleam to break a Sash on Aerodactyl. The only problem is, how do I break through the Charizard? It's going to be my Instant. Actually, it can't even be my Instant. How am I beating Zard? Because if I Rain Dance, I'm just losing in the long term. They go Gambit, okay. I mean, I get the Poison Jab off in the Sylveon guaranteed, so I'm always taking that. And I guess a Gleam or I guess I get enough damage, I suppose, with a Gleam or two. Should be 2 Gleams get in this range. Yeah, perfect. They have to recharge. We can go for Close Combat into Gambits, and we can go for another Dazzle. And we just spam. Maybe Sylveon switches out, but that's fine. They don't have a switch to Close Combat on the Gambit slot, which is nice. If Aerodactyl comes in, it takes... The only problem is I'm really worried about the end game against Charizard. I don't know how I'm being Charizard. Because if I Rain Dance, they have Weather Ball for my Instant, which is like one of the weaknesses of running Rain Dance as a counter to Zard. So, we'll see. I don't have a Rock move either. If I had a Rock move, it would be here. But this is first time Poison Jab's come into play, but it also didn't do that much to Sylveon. Alright, let's see what they go for. Gambit retreats. Wait. Any damage on something is good. Damage on Charizard is beautiful. And they went Aerodactyl. Fascinating turn. Yeah, that's good damage. That is legitimately good damage. Okay. Town Imperial's out. This is not the last... How many turns do we have? 2 turns of Trick Room. I think I Close Combat and Rain Dance. This is going to be really close. Ideally, the Charizard doesn't attack here. If it does, it's fine. Because I think with the Rain Dance, I live Heat Wave with both, most likely. But I can't let Aerodactyl get a dual Wing Beat. Yeah, they protect the Charizard. That's not surprising to me. And they protect Aerodactyl. Okay. So I Rain Dance and Close Combat. I think they're scouting for the Rock move, but that makes sense. Okay. I think this turn I go for Close Combat and the Zard, and I just go for a Dazzling Gleam. Ideally, they don't go Sylveon for the Charizard. If they switch out to Charizard, please give me the Gambits, because that would be the most ideal mon. I mean, the most ideal mons for me to remove are Charizard first, then Gambit, Sylveon is the last. Like, I would ideally not want them to sack Sylveon here, but there is a chance they do. The thing is, I could also see them switching out to Aerodactyl, but they might also just double attack here, being like, okay, you can take a knockout. Charizard retreats. Gambit does come in. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's not terrible for me, because I do get the Close Combat KO to Gambit, and I guess this is playable now, because I do get a Gleam off in Aerodactyl, and even if they have dual Wing Beat, this is acceptable. So Dazzle comes out. Good damage. Rock Slide. Do they not have dual Wing Beat? That helps. Although setting up the Trick Room is just really awkward. Now Now Charizard comes in and it gets really strange. It gets really strange. Yeah. I did not reveal Protect or Knockoff, so they have to guess kind of moves here. I think my best play is to always go for close combat into... Is it close combat Rain Dance here? Or is it close... I think it's close combat Rain Dance, but the question is who am I going for rain... Who am I targeting here? I think I target Charizard always. And I think I gotta go for Rain Dance here. Because if this is Heat Wave, I take too much. Wait, they Protect? They would have given me a potential to Trick Room. Do they have Taunt? Or are they going for another Rock Slide to get more damage off? The thing is, I had multiple ways to counterplay this part. Oh, like if I Trick Room there, I'm in such a great spot. If I go Instant, I'm also in a really good spot. It's cooked. Close combat Trick Room. Just dodge a Heat Wave, basically. That's all I'm gonna say. Just dodge a Heat Wave. Maybe dodge a Heat Wave, maybe. Or there's a chance they Weather Ball my Conkeldurr. Let's see what they go for. They finally Mega Evolve Zard. We're going for a Heat Wave miss or a... Because unfortunately I can't Thunder Wave in this position because Conkeldurr doesn't outspeed Charizard after Thunder Wave. Rock Slide. Wait, they did Weather Ball. Please do not flinch. Please do not flinch. Okay. Klefki is locked in. Granted, this is still nowhere near an easy game, but this is actually like a winnable game because Instant might sweep under Trick Room. Alright, we go for a Darkest Lariat into Dazzling Gleam. I feel like the Zard Protect is so obvious, but then again, both of these Protects are kind of obvious. My only question is, does Darkest Lariat KO? And if they have Wide Guard. Because if they have Wide Guard, that means I can't get the Gleam KOs into like the Charizard or the Aerodactyl. Wait, okay, they retreat the Aerodactyl to go Sylveon. That's good for me. They do Protect, okay. I wonder if I could Darkest Lariat the Aerodactyl the next turn. I don't think Rock Slide KO's instant though, regardless. Okay, Sylveon goes down. Is this Wide Guard Aerodactyl? We'll find out. I think I always double the Charizard slot though. What's stronger, the Darkest Lariat or the Flare Blitz and Sun? Because the Flare Blitz is like 180, Sun 270, and then 135. It is slightly stronger than Darkest Lariat, right? Yeah, it's like slightly stronger. It's 180, 270, and Sun. I think we Flare Blitz and we go for Dazzling Gleam. Let's see. Because the Flare Blitz recoil doesn't put me in range of Aerodactyl Rock Slide anyway. Yeah, it is Wide Guard. Okay. The question is, am I KOing the Zard here? And also, I guess if they had Heat Waves. Flare Blitz. It does KO Zard. I cannot believe this was one, man. I cannot believe this was one. You might be thinking, why did they Weather Ball to Conk? But it's like, I think they probably expected Rain Dance and maybe like a switch to Instant or something of that nature. So I was like, okay, there is a world where they just try to get the Conkeldurr and accurately with Weather Ball to ensure the knockout so they don't lose a Mon, and maybe they are scared of losing the Instant in the endgame, but I cannot believe that was done. All right, we have Cleaver, Sneasler, Blastoise, Farigiraf, Scizor, and Whimsicott. All right, so we have a Cleaver, which is interesting. Mega Blastoise on this team. I can't tell if this is going to be some Trick Room or Rain Dance because it's just hard to always tell. I think it actually might be Trick Room because the Whimsicott makes you feel about Tailwind, but I could definitely see it not be. All right, I think I'm going to go with Klefki plus Basculegion. I think it's pretty okay here for the most part. And then in the back, Feraligator Incins probably. Because I don't think Conk is really needed. Conkeldurr does okay amounts, but Incineroar Intimidate for the Scizor just in case seems pretty good. And it can actually damage the Sneasler while Conkeldurr gets walled by the Sneasler. Not walled because it does a decent amount, but Flare Blitz does way more than close combat, I'll tell you that much. So I think that has better utility. Blastoise plus Whimsicott, interesting. Versus Klefki Basculegion. I'm clicking Thunder Wave and I'm clicking Hex into the Blastoise. If they go for Farigiraf, they go for Farigiraf. But I want damage into the Blastoise no matter what. They stay in? I don't think. Because here's the thing. If they Tailwind, I get the Thunder Wave into Hex off, so this is pretty good for me. Here's what they click. Okay, I think this is actually Trick Room. I actually think this is Trick Room. From them. Thunder Wave. We get a Hex off, so we get double base power. Should do some good damage. Yeah, that's also bulky Blastoise. Giga Drain. Okay, that's fine. And Water Spout. Oh, that does nothing. Yeah, that does nothing. Ooh, boy. Okay, interesting, interesting, interesting. And also, like, Instant is pretty good against the Whims, because it can actually switch in here. I think here I just go for a Trick Room and a Hex. Do I want the Trick Room up? I guess, yeah, Trick Room's pretty nice here, I'd say. I could also Dazzle, because it's not like the Whimsicott's putting that much pressure into me immediately, but I do think Trick Room is better. So I'm going to go for Trick Room and I'm going to go for Hex into the Blastoise, because the Blastoise might not have Protect. Yeah, so we get the Hex off. They probably Giga Drain my... Basculegion, but I get Trick Room up, which is nice. So, yep, that is perfect. Now this upcoming turn with Trick Room up, I like the Instant in because Instant puts on a lot of offensive pressure. I could also go out into my Feraligator, but the Whimsicott Moonblast is going to do actually some pretty good damage to me. So I think I always just go out into my Instant. In the next turn, I'm kind of curious on what I click afterward. Well, we'll see. Bring out the Instant as they bring out Sneasler. Okay, that makes sense. White Herb. I think my best play here to dodge an Encore, go out in Feraligator, click Fake Out into the Sneasler. I'm curious if this is multi-attack on the Whimsicott. But we'll see. I do want to get Feraligator in and start because I don't want Encore happening on my Trick Room. They switch out. Oh, that's bad. Good play on their part. I have to respect the play. I have to respect it a lot. They're going for close combat. I don't think I'm living this. Yeah. Okay, good play on their part. I should have thought about that more. Maybe... I should have maybe just raw Flare Blitzed. I was like, oh, I'm pretty safe here, but that was an excellent play on their part. Like, I can't even be mad. We go on a Klefki. This is playable, but it's not, like, still kind of tough. We're going to go for Facade into the Giraffe, I suppose, and Thunder Wave and hope that KOs. No, we target the Sneasler. Yeah, we target the Sneasler. So let's Thunder Wave the... I lose to Encore regardless, though, I think. Do I? It kind of depends on what the Whimsicott's going for as the last, but we Thunder Wave so we can get the boost on the Feraligator, so Facade always KOs the Sneasler. Because that's the way they damage the Klefki the most right now. We KO because we know it's White Herb on the Sneasler, so Sneasler goes down. Did they Trick Room or Foul Play? Trick Room, okay. I think Feraligator can live an attack on the bright side, so we can go for Facade into the Giraffe. The question is what the Whimsicott clicks here, because what does the Whimsicott click is going to matter a lot. Like, is it Encore? If it's Giga Drain, it might be Giga Drain Moonblast, and I hope that Feraligator can live, and that's like my hope here. I'm going to go for Dazzling Gleam plus Facade into Giraffe. Like, they might have forgot. Oh, this is helping at Moonblast, isn't it? Okay. I do not think I'm living this. Please. 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 Please, Feraligator. Please. Let's go. Okay, that should knock out the Giraffe, and I don't think Whimsicott beats the Klefki. Unironically, I do not think Whimsicott beats the Klefki. Oh my goodness. I did not think Feraligator was living that. Feraligator might actually be the GOAT. We go for a Gleam and a Waterfall because we don't waste turns here. They Giga Drain my Feraligator, which is fine. Doesn't really change much here. I just spam Gleam as they are going to spam Giga Drain or Moonblast. This is a single target Gleam, so I'm doing decent damage, and they're not doing that much damage to Klefki. Yeah, like look at that Gleam damage. Like, what do they need? I think Moonblast special attack drop first is probably what they need, and then Giga Drain. But we'll see. Yeah, that's what they go for. Makes sense. Klefki takes it. No special attack drop. Dazzling Gleam. Okay, yeah, I do way too much damage. They can't Moonblast special attack drop, and Giga Drain also doesn't heal enough, and they can't crit to knock out. Even a double crit wouldn't have saved them. So Feraligator went in. Feraligator went in. I thought it was over after the fake out. That was a bad play on my part. Alright, we have Incineroar, Sinistra, Como, Tinkaton, Politoed, and Gengar. Actually, I think I've seen this Perish Trap team before. Actually, have I? I don't remember the Tinkaton, but it might make sense here. I think this is probably this really looks like a Perish Trap team. Does this team have the best senses of Perish? I mean, we have Basculegion, which is nice, I suppose, because Shadow Ball with Specs is pretty solid here. I guess we lead Basculegion plus... Trying to figure out what I lead it with. I feel like it's Feraligator just so I can set up potentially. Yeah, I think it's Feraligator. And then in the back, I like Incin plus the Klefki. Because Conkeldurr doesn't really help much here. I don't need the damage output. Hatteran's not bad because it's a good answer to Como. But otherwise, like, Klefki's also like fine against Como. So I don't think it's necessary. And like, Klefki's immune to Sludge Bomb and is neutral to Shadow Ball, which I think is better here. The only problem is the Sinistra. The Sinistra is going to make this a bit hard. Also, if they lead Gengar Instant, it's like, what is their play turn one? Their play turn one is going to dictate a lot about this pacing. Because it's like, okay, if they have that combo out, it's like Rage Powder Shadow Ball makes a ton of sense, but we'll find out. Okay. What are they leading here? It's going to be the Gengar Tinkaton. This is pretty alright, as long as this isn't Thunderwave Tinkaton for some reason. But Feraligator Basculegion, pretty good for me. I'm going to set up a Swords Dance, and I'm going to go for Shadow Ball. I'm also not going to Mega Evolve in the rare case that they, hey, like decide I am play rough Tinkaton. So I'm going to Swords Dance, and I'm going to Shadow Ball. I guess this could be Encore Disable from the Tinkaton, but granted, I don't think that's too bad because as long as I'm threatening the Scarf Shadow Ball into the Gengar, I should be good. Yes. Wait, do I? Well, the thing is, Perish Song Mega Gengar doesn't run max speed. So I should outspeed with the Scarf Bask. Alright, let's see here. Actually, I do outspeed Mega Gengar. Okay, they fake out the Feraligator, and they left the Gengar open. Does this go down to Shadow Ball? If it goes down to Shadow Ball, it might be just game. Yeah, it just goes down to Shadow Ball, so I think that's game. Alright, Gengar gone. I'm very surprised they risked a Gengar like that, but because I think they had other options. What can I say? What can I say? Alright, we have Whimsicott, Charizard, Sneasler, Kangaskhan, Basculegion, and Garchomp. So, multiple mega options. Charizard, probably Charizard Y. This is going to be not an easy setup here. I kind of am. The Whimsicott's going to be the annoying part because the fact that they have Whimsicott means that they have access to Encore, which means it's tougher for me to set up here. I like Feraligator plus Instant a lot in general. Do I like Conkeldurr in this matchup? It's like okay, but it's not like incredible. But what do I bring over it? I definitely bring Klefki. The question is, am I bringing Hatterene? Because I could see this being the Trick Room setter just because I have access to Magic Bounce to prevent Encore, which actually could be helpful here. Or am I going Bask? Because Bask might not be awful here. But I think it's Hatterene. Because if I had like more reliable moves on the Conk to be able to hit the coverage, then maybe, but I guess like Whimsicott's still pretty annoying to deal with regardless. Yeah, Whimsicott is just really annoying for the team to handle regardless, because Encore is just always going to be super threatening. So if I could get rid of Whimsicott, but I don't think they ever lead Whimsicott. They're probably leading their offense with like Garchomp plus Charizard or maybe Sneasler as one of them, I think would make a lot of sense here. So let's see. They let Whimsicott Charizard. Okay. Interesting spot here. Because I actually can go for Waterfall into Whimsicott and fake out to Charizard. The reason I would do this is because I want to break a Sash on the Whimsicott and then put it in range of Flare Blitz. They could double protect if they have it. That's definitely a reasonable play because they could Encore me if I try to set up anyway. Like, this is still a really tough position, but I don't think it's that bad. We do see a Charizard Mega Evolution, okay? This is probably on the attack, right? There's no way you Mega Evolve and don't attack. The question is, does Whimsicott attack as well? Okay, they do attack with both, which is good for me. I do get a Fake Out off, and Moonblast comes out into Feraligator. Oh, Instant. That could be a bit annoying, actually. I might go down to Moonblast plus Heat Wave, but that's not great. So I get the Waterfall to break a potential Sash. It's not over, but it's not a great spot. I gotta protect Feraligator and hope that Instant lives a turn to KO the Whimsicott, and if I don't, it's just like cooked. Like, the only, like, even Klefki lead isn't that great here because sure I Rain Dance, but I just take so much damage here. And I never get Trick 'em Up, which is the problem. They Moonblast again, which is not surprising. I don't think I'm living Heat Wave at this range. Oh, wait, what? They Solar Beamed. Okay. Chance? Because they gave me the Whimsicott. It's still not amazing, but it's acceptable. Whimsicott goes down. Oh boy, this is still really tough, but it's like a doable game. The thing is, Dragon Claw Heat Wave pins every single switch that I have. Oh, they went Sneasler, what? Huh. Interesting Sneasler switch. This is probably Fake Out into Heat Wave then. I'm going to Facade the Sneasler anyway, because it's not like I KO'd a Charizard in this position, and then I'm going to go for a, I guess, Flare Blitz and Sun into Sneasler if they give me the Sneasler. And Instant gets an attack off. I mean, realistically, Instant should never get to attack off. I can't really sack a Pokemon here because I think I need Hatterene and Klefki in order to set up Trick Room, unfortunately. So let's see. They close combat immediately. Okay. We tank it. If they Solar Beamed here, this is a very interesting spot. But they probably clicked Heat Wave. I don't think you let the Instant ever get the Flare Blitz off. Yeah. So that's why I could never switch to Klefki in this position. It also was never safe to switch in Hat either. Is that good for me or bad for me? Because Facade, the thing is, it's not like Ursaluna where it can ignore it. Like I still have double the power Facade, but my attack is still had. But I at least KO'd the Sneasler, so maybe there's something we have here. Maybe there's something we have here. We go Klefki because we need that range set up. Ugh, if it's Bask in the end game, this is really rough. I guess I could go Had and attempt a Trick Room. If it's Garchomp though, I have to go Klefki, I think. No, this is tough regardless. It is Bask. Okay, I can play a game here, I suppose. Hope that they last respect Solar Beam here. Yeah, that's probably the play here. We protect the Feraligator. We go for a Trick Room. And then we can Facade. I mean, I can't really beat both Basculegion and Charizard. I guess we get to find out, depending on the Basculegion set, if it's Sash or Scarf. Because Whimsicott might have been Sash. It did look like it was really offensive with the Whimsicott. So it might be Sash Whimsicott, which means Scarf Bass, which means doable. That's the math here. Yeah, that's the math here. I'm hoping that they last respect the Hatterene Solar Beam and they don't know the team. Otherwise, I would have to make a hard read and protect the Hatterene, and go for a attack here. Wait, they Weather Balled the Feraligator. Does that even KO? Last respect, okay. It's a doable game. It's not a great position, but it's a doable game. Trick Room goes up. This is just so weird of an end game. But we go for Facade, we go for Gleam. I can't really afford switches. They could protect with both. I think they're probably protecting both with both realistically, but that's acceptable. Like, only if they protect Charizard and attack with Bask is ugly, but we'll see. I think they did that. Oh no, they Aqua Jetted the Hat. That also makes sense. The problem is, I don't even think I don't beat any of these Pokemon in the end game with what I have, unfortunately. That helped me get Trick Room up, but unfortunately I didn't have the firepower. Okay. My out is Facade KOs to Charizard. I get a Thunderwave para into the Bask. And then another Thunderwave full para. So super unlikely odds, but it is possible, I suppose. But yeah, this is not a pretty situation. Thunderwave. I guess Basculegion was the better back Pokemon to have to clean up in the end. They last respect to Klefki. I mean, I lose anyway, I assume. Because even if I KO Charizard, unless I get the full pair on Bask, and then do I KO with Facade, I highly doubt it. I KO the Charizard, so maybe. Like, this has to be not Sash on the Bask, and I need to KO with Facade. I think those are super unlikely odds, but... Hey, you know what? We've had unlikelier odds on the channel happen before, so we'll go for Facade. And see what happens. Aqua Jet. I survived, so I'm surprised they went for Aqua Jet, but Facade? They didn't even attempt to protect. I don't get why they didn't... Well, I guess you have to go for Protect and Aqua Jet if you think it's KOing, but like, wait. Is Facade really that strong? Does it ignore the attack drop? I thought it didn't. From Burn. So how was the team? Is it the most solid team out there? Like, is this a team that's going to absolutely destroy tournaments? No. Is Mega Feraligator that crazy of a mod? It still has the downsides of just being slow and needs quite a bit of help in order to set up. However, it actually did a lot more damage than I thought. Like, I know it does have a really high base stat, especially in its attack. And then Facade with the Thunder Wave was just super impressive, even in situations where I wasn't really set up with the Feraligator. The fact that the Facade just did that much damage, even with the last game especially, was absolutely absurd to me. Like, I didn't think I was getting those KOs, but you know what? we did get those KOs, absolutely incredible. And yeah, overall, like it was pretty solid of a situation. So yeah, that is going to be the team. It had some really fun elements. I do think, again, there were some probably big weaknesses. I'm not a big fan of the rain matchup. You can play around some cases, but if they have redirection with our Archalon, I think it's really tough if they have that combination set up, because I think you can position it pretty well. And then there's also like some other stuff that can be annoying. I do think that any Zar team is still going to be kind of annoying, because even though you're rain dancing with Klefki to reduce the damage output, Weather Ball is kind of annoying into Incineroar, and then you also still have to take a lot of damage from Heat Wave in the rain, and then you have to fear the partner. Not great. Also, only Klefki has the Fairy Resist with not much to immediately damage the Floette is kind of concerning. I think Fairies are pretty rough for the team, but it did have a lot of fun points. If you would like to try it out, you can try it out with a replica code right here, and you can check out the details of the team in the creator down below description, and of course subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.